Okay, so today we are going to solve problems that is analysis of beam using stiffness matrix method. So this problem we are going to solve today. Before solving any problem by stiffness method, remember we have to just recall that equilibrium equation for stiffness matrix method, which is a del matrix is equal to K matrix inverse multiplied by vector of P minus vector of P dash. So likewise, we have to solve this entire problem. So this is very important equation in case of solving any problem by using stiffness matrix method. Okay, so and steps involved in the solving problem is nothing but just finding out this each matrix one by one and finally solving that matrix. So first step here will be finding out Ki of given structure. And here very important thing is that we have to find out this Ki by neglecting axial deformation. This one thing you should remember. We have to find out Ki of structure by neglecting axial deformation. Okay, so here Ki, formula for Ki, we know that formula for Ki is generally for beam is 3J minus R, and whenever we are neglecting this axial deformation, we are also subtracting number of members in the beam or in the structure. So here total number of joints are 3, so 3 into 3 minus total number of reaction RA, RB, and RC, RC, HC, and MC. So total reactions will be 1, 2, 5 minus total number of members are 2, so 3 into 3, 9, 9 minus 5, 4, 4 minus 2, 2. So this Ki is now 2 here, and depending upon this value of Ki 2, we have to assume number of displacement in structure or number of coordinates in structure. And as I have said yesterday, for simple support, for hinge support, or for roller support, we have to always assume rotation as an unknown. Okay, so here we will see that as Ki is 2, rotation at A and B are unknown. Okay, rotations means we are assuming moment coordinates at A and B are unknown. Therefore, our assumption will be now like this. This is our beam AB. This is support A, support B. This is 3 meter. This is 4 meter. And now we are going to assume rotation at A. That means clockwise rotation at A as unknown and rotation at B as unknown, or theta at A and theta at B as unknown. Now we will give numbering system for this unknown. So this will be coordinate number 1 and this will be coordinate number 2. And in this equation, in this equilibrium equation, now del matrix will be now del 1 and del 2. That means unknown at coordinate number 1 and unknown at coordinate number 2, and which is equal to now theta A and theta B. Why? Because we have assumed rotation at A and rotation at B as unknown. Therefore, this theta A and theta B are going to be now unknown. So what we have done so far, we have found out Ki by neglecting axial deformation. So Ki value is 2. So now rotation at A and rotation at B are now unknown. We have assumed that as unknown, and while assuming that unknowns, what we have done that clockwise rotation at A and B we have assumed as a unknown. Remember, this is point A, this is B, and this is C. Or rather, just simply remember that you have to always assume at simple support. If simple support is present in your structure, then assume clockwise rotation at that support as unknown. And now we have given naming system for this particular unknown. So coordinate number 1 is now rotation or moment at A, and coordinate number 2 is rotation or moment at B. Now step number 2 here is finding out K matrix for structure. So now this is our beam and this is coordinate systems what we have assumed. So what we will do now, first we will apply coordinate number 1. So whenever we are applying coordinate number 1, on this beam. So remember here, coordinate number 1 is only associated with beam AB. So there will not be any effect on beam BC of this coordinate number 1. So now if we apply coordinate number 1 in this fashion, so as per development of stiffness matrices problem, if for this beam AB, this coordinate number 1 or this moment number 1 is striking from above, then deflected shape of beam AB will be at opposite side of that. That means deflected shape of AB will be like this, and now here it will be coordinate number 2. Now please see that at one location coordinate clockwise moment is produced, so at another location also clockwise moment should produce. And here remember, uh, in case of only rotations, there will not be any development of forces. Why? Because there is a presence of RA and RB, which will not allow presence of any force coordinate. That means whatever diagram we have seen, if suppose rotation is like this acting, then we are used to develop force coordinate like this. But here at support A and support B, already reactions are there, so we did not develop this force coordinate here. Rather, we have to only work on this moment coordinate only. So now here K11 will be, so one is moment coordinate and another one is also moment coordinate. So it will be 4 EI by L. So L for AB is 3 meters. So 4 by 3 into EI. So it will be 1.33 times EI. Now next K21. So now K21, 2 is also moment coordinate, 1 is also moment coordinate, but original moment is applied at 1. So here our K21 will be 4 EI by L, LAB more importantly, divided by 2. So it is going to be 4 by 3 into 2 into EI. So this is going to be 0.67 times EI. Okay. And remember, depending upon this Ki value, size of our K matrices depend. If your Ki is 2, then size of K matrix will be 2 by 2 only. Now next we will apply coordinate number 2. So for coordinate number 2, this is A, this is B, and coordinate number 2 is acting in a clockwise direction. So now deflected shape of beam for A, B and BC we have to draw separately. So for beam BC, this arrow of moment or arrow of coordinate is striking from above. So deflected shape will be opposite of that. And similarly, the same moment will come to AB and will strike AB part from below part, and therefore this deflected shape will be like this. So now K22 coordinate will be 4 moment due to moment 4 EI by LAB plus 4 EI by LBC. So 4 by LAB is 3 plus 4 by LBC is 4 into EI. This is going to be 2.33 EI. Now sign for this K22 or rather than all K11, our assumed moment is clockwise. We have also applied clockwise moment, so this will be positive. Now K21, if you see, assumed moment at B is clockwise and generated moment at B is also clockwise. So this therefore this K21 will be again positive. Similarly, this K22 will be again positive because our applied and assumed is clockwise. Now next here, if at point A moment is acting in clockwise direction, at point B, then at point A also this moment should act in clockwise direction. So this is our coordinate number 1. Now K12 will be 4 EI by only LAB now, because coordinate number 1 is only associated with AB, divided by 2. So it is going to be again 0.67 times EI. If you see, K matrix will be we will take EI common. So K matrix will be 1.33, 0.67, 0.67 and 2.33. But in that equilibrium equation, if you see, we have to find out inverse of K. So here we should find out inverse of this K matrix. So for how to find out inverse of K matrix, so it will be, or K inverse is nothing but adjoint of K divided by determinant of K. So luckily this matrix is only 2 by 2 matrix. So adjoint of K here will be, what we have to do, we have to just interchange this first diagonal element and we have to change sign of this remaining other diagonal element. So how to find out adjoint of K? So if we interchange this first diagonal with each other and this next diagonal, we have to only change the signs or give negative sign for this remaining two diagonal. And how to find out determinant of K now? So for to finding out determinant of K, it will be 1 upon EI and into 1.33 into 2.33 minus 0.67 into 0.67 in original matrix K. So this will be determinant of K, and this value will be, this will not be 1 upon EI, this will be just EI. So this value will be now 2.65 times EI. This value of determinant of K is 2.65 times EI. Now K inverse is nothing but adjoint of K divided by determinant of K. So for K inverse matrix, in this adjoint of K, if you divide all values by 2.67, so we will get inverse of K. So 2.33 divided by 2.67, so it is going to be 0.88. Then 0.67 divided by 2.65, it is minus 0.25. This is also minus 0.25. This is 0.50. So this is K inverse matrix. So in this our equilibrium equation, we have found out this matrix. We also find out this K inverse matrix. Now remaining 2 points are P and P dash vectors. So for that, first thing we have to do that finding out. Next step here will be third step. Find FEMs, that is our fixed end moments. So MFAB, here now it will be minus WL by 8. So value of load is 10 and L is 3, minus 10 into 3 divided by 8. It is going to be 3.75 minus 3.75 kilonewton meter, and MFBA will be same value but positive 3.75 kilonewton meter. And next MFBC will be minus WL square divided by 12. So minus W here now is 6 into 4 square divided by 12. It is going to be minus 8 kilonewton meter, and MFCB will be positive 8 kilonewton meter. And similarly here also we will find out span moment, because that will be helped in when drawing BMD. So AB will be WL by 4, so 7.5 and MBC will be WL square by 8, which will be equal to 12 kilonewton meter. Okay, so after finding out FEM, remember our assumed coordinates I will draw once again here. A, B, and C. This is coordinate number 1. This is coordinate number 2. So first we will see P vector. So again, depending upon number of vectors, the number of coordinates, this P vector will be divided in P1 and P2. So now P is nothing but, or P vector is nothing but externally acting moment or forces at each coordinate. So if there any external moment or forces are acting on this beam AB, then other than this lateral loading, then that two coordinates will be there, that P1 and P2 will be there. So in problem at support A and at support B, externally acting loads or moments are not given. Therefore, these P1 and P2 values will be 0 now. P1 will be 0, P2 will also be equal to 0. Remember this. If suppose in problem it is given that, let us take one example like this. On point A, there is external moment of 10 kilonewton meter is acting like this. Then in this case, if suppose we have assumed coordinate number 1 at A, then P1 will be 10 kilonewton meter. And if suppose at point B, anti-clockwise moment of, let us say, 10 kilonewton meter is acting, then at point B, P2 will be now -7. How to give sign for this P1 and P2? If suppose our assumed coordinates are clockwise at both location, and in problem also external moments are given in clockwise direction, then those values will be positive. And if suppose in this current problem, if suppose at point B we have assumed clockwise rotation, but in problem it is given that anti-clockwise moment is acting, at that time P2 would have been here -7. So remember this, how to assume this P1 and P2. Those are dependent on how your external forces are acting on each coordinate system. But here in current problem, there is no any type of external moments are acting at point A and point B. Therefore, this P1 and P2 will be 0. Now next is vector of P dash. So again, depending upon our number of coordinates, this will be P1 dash, this will be P2 dash. Now P dash vector is net FEM acting at 1 and 2, or at given coordinates or assumed coordinate system. Okay, so net FEM means at point A, if you see at point A how many FEMs are acting, there is only one FEM, that is MFAB is acting. So now P1 dash will be only value of MFAB. So MFAB is -3.75 kilonewton meter. So this will be now my P1 dash value. Now P2 dash value will be, so now P2 dash means at point B how many FEMs are acting. So there are now two FEM. First one is this MFBA and next one is this MFBC. So P2 dash will be, value of MFBA is 3.75 kilonewton. So 3.75, which is nothing but MFBA, -8, which is nothing but your MFBC. So 3.75 -8, it is going to be -4.25. Here in short, whatever I don't what are these values, this is MFAB, this is MFBA, this is MFBC. So P1 dash and P2 dash, these are nothing but net fixed end moments acting at each coordinate system. So at coordinate number 1, there is only MFAB is acting. Therefore, we have written down directly P1 dash is equal to -3.75. At coordinate number 2, that is at point B, there are two FEMs are acting. So MFBA and MFBC. So just we have to take summation of that. So MFBA is 3.75 and MFBC is -8. So 3.75 -8, it is going to be -4.25. So now my vector of P dash is now these two values, so minus 3.75 minus 4.25. These are now my vector of P dash. Now here I will write down again that equilibrium equation once again. So del matrix is equal to K matrix inverse multiplied by P vector minus P dash vector. So del matrix we have known that it is theta A and theta B. K matrix is 1 upon EI. K inverse matrix. What are those values? Yes, these are value 0.88, 0.25, 0.5, 0.88 minus 0.25, 0.5 minus 0.25. This is nothing but your K inverse matrix. Now P vector is now 0, 0 minus P dash vector, just we have found out minus 3.75 and minus, what was that value? .25. So now for this EI theta A, and sorry, if you take this EI to left hand side, so this equation is going to be now EI theta A and EI theta B is equal to 0.88 minus 0.25 minus 0.25 minus 0.5. Now here we have to just do subtraction of this P minus P dash vector. So 0 minus 0.375. So it is going to be plus 3.75, because this minus and minus will become plus. Similarly, this minus and minus also will become plus. So 4.25. So just now we have to do matrix multiplication here. So I will do one sample calculation for EI theta A. So EI theta A is now going to be 0.88 into not 0.88 into 3.75 minus 0.25 into 4.25. So this value, let me calculate. This is going to be 2.2375, and EI theta B is now minus 0.25 into 3.75 plus 0.5 into 4.25, and this value is now going to be 1.875. These are nothing but just matrix multiplication. Okay, so now EI theta A and EI theta B is known to us. So if you, in original beam, this is A, B and C. If you apply slope deflection equation, so MAB is now MFAB plus 2 EI by L into bracket 2 theta A plus theta B. So MFAB is known minus 3.75 plus 2 into 2, 4 EI theta A divided by LAB is 3 plus 2 EI theta B divided by LAB is 3. So here only unknowns are EI theta A and EI theta B, which we have found earlier. So if you put this value of EI theta and EI theta B in this equation, you will get MAB value as let us calculate this value. So this value is 0.4. Similarly, if you find out MBA, so just it will be MFBA plus 4 by 3 EI theta B variable now plus 2 by 3 EI theta A. So likewise, you have to find out each value of MAB, MBA, then MBC and MCB. So this value is nearly equal to 0. If you take up to third digit value, so this should be equal to 0 because support A here is now end simple support. So you should know that ends at end simple support moments are going to be 0. And the same problem is solved here. So if you see this value, you can see MAB, MBA, MCB and MPC. So after finding out this value, as per our usual sign convention, that means for drawing of BMD, you can draw BMD for this case. Okay, so this is how you have to solve a problem by using stiffness matrix method. In this, what is important part? First, finding out this K matrices, and next finding out this P and P dash vector. That is only important here. After that, whatever you have solved, those are nothing but your application of slope deflection equation only. So if you apply that slope deflection equation, you will get clear, you will get final moment values like this. So likewise, you have to solve, or you have to analyze beam using stiffness matrix method. So this is it for today's lecture. In tomorrow's lecture,